Now it's getting fun. The more complex, the more fun. Some of you might even feel like it's a little bit too much review, but always good to get your foundation strong before you move on to things that are a little more complex. Once again, the minimum would be 1 to 19 odd. Do as many as you feel like or as many as you're curious about. And then I just try to help you focus on some of those extra problems. Again, some of them I feel like are a little just too convoluted, sort of too made up. So I try to focus you on the ones that I think are a little more relevant or curious. I'm not going to give you a lot of background on this one. Play around with it. I mean, problem solving is a good skill. So think about how you're problem solving that out, even if you can't write it in algebraic expressions. But do try to record your thought process. All right. So again, how would I like you to show these things? I'm crushing out these videos all in a row. Name, date, assignment. Here we go. So what's going on here? Well, I have to first combine any like terms. Then I need to undo. And I need to show my work. Beautiful. Here I'm going to need to combine some like terms, but this is a case where I sort of have to do some order of operations first before I can combine like terms, before I can undo. So first I actually have to simplify this guy. And so I'm going to get 7x by using the distributive property. 2x plus 12. I'm continuing to simplify. Now I can undo, that is, get x by itself. Perfect. Could double check. 3 plus 6 is 9, 2 times 9 is 18, 7 times 3 is 21, 21 plus 18 is 39. Check. Again, here we're going to simplify first before we undo, and I love this kind of business where I have to essentially kind of distribute a -1 is really what's going on there. So you have a 6x minus a 2x, but a negative becomes a positive. Combine these, combine like terms. Now we're ready to undo. Did I do everything right? 6x, because you know, normally these things kind of come out even. So, or integers, minus 2x, minus is a plus 5. And I have 46 over here. 4x plus 5 equals 46. Well, this is a good place for me to show you that, you know what, just leave it. X equals 41 divided by 4. You can't simplify that other than that. And if you're going, I prefer what they call an improper fraction, which I don't like that term, over a mixed number, because this is just way easier to do anything else with. Unless you're a carpenter or something and you're trying to measure, you would want to know that was right. 10 1/4 inches. So yeah, there you go. But I'm going to show you 2 ways before we've worked with these fractions. What are 2 ways to undo those? You could distribute first, although these numbers are pretty yucky. If I try to multiply 2/5 times 3r, remember that these are all over 1, I would get 10r over 5 plus 8 over 5 equals 10 over 1. And, you know, if we were simplifying, again, order of operations here would tell us you can't combine these. They're not like terms. And then if everybody had common denominators, it would be a lot easier. There's about 6 ways to do this. I actually would not recommend this way at all. Because really what I would have done, just going to stop even. What I would have done right here, even if I saw this, is multiply everybody by 5. And that's going to undo this, and remember that's a 5 over 1. So I would get a 10r plus an 8 equals a 50. And then you guys could go from there, right? This 5 multiplied by 5. 5 in the numerator, 5 in the denominator, cancel. 5 in the numerator, 5 in the denominator, cancel. Nothing to cancel in the denominator here, so 10 times 5 is 50. And then subtract 8, divide by 10. One thing you can do here is just multiply by 5 over 2, and that's going to undo this. Multiply by 5 over 2. And again, you could do that one at a time. I could have actually multiplied both sides by 5 first and then divided both sides by 2. I prefer the one fell swoop business. So that cancels that, and I'm left with 3r plus 4, and 10 divided by 2 is 5 over 1. 5 times 5 is 25. 3r plus 4 equals 25, and I'm pretty confident that you guys can follow through from there. I'll do a, I'm going to do it this way just for you to see. Let's make everybody a fraction, right? And I'm going to undo 5 first. So I'm just going to multiply by 5. So essentially I have an A times a B. These guys are connected. They're one term. So I have an A times a B equals a C. So if I multiply, it doesn't matter what order you multiply, so I'm going to multiply these two guys first. Like if you have 2 times 3 times 6, you don't go 2 times 3 and then 2 times 6, right? You just say 2 times 3 is 6, and then 6 times 6 is 36. So I'm just going to do this times this. They're going to cancel, and then I'm going to have 2. And whatever I did to this side, I have to do to this side, equals 50. And now you could actually take your pick. You could distribute, or you could just divide both sides by 2. However you want to go from there. So, you know, I debate sometimes, do I show you lots of options? And then you get confused. And if you're having issues with that, shoot me an email, or we'll sort it out when you get back. We have time for that. So these I drew directly from the worksheet. Here again, you want to, I would simplify first. 2x plus 6 plus 2 times 2x is 4x. Then you would have to combine like terms. 6x plus 6 equals 24. And now you're in familiar territory. I guess I am looking at a couple of these. Now it's up to you. If you want to try them without looking at my video, that's great. You're driving to a vacation spot. It's 1,500 miles away, including rest stops. It takes you 42 hours. You estimate you drove at an average speed of 50 miles per hour. How many hours were you not driving? So in other words, if you're driving for 50 miles per hour, and you only have to drive 1,500 miles, is it going to take you 42 hours just for driving? Evidently not. And I'm trying to establish good habits, although again, these word problems are a little hokey, but what would that look like? Well, we're using the classic distance equals rate times time. So if you're traveling 50 miles per hour, times some number of hours will result in 1,500 miles of driving. And then once you solve for x, you would divide both sides by 50. Then once you know how many hours you drove, you could subtract that from 42 and get your rest. And again, I think you guys can do this in your heads, but just how would I go about writing this algebraically? And then this was number 20. You helped a friend move. The friend rented a truck for, again, here's a rate. $15 an hour, and the dolly was just $5. So your friend paid a total of $80. How long did your friend rent the truck? So again, there's the rate business. So the $80 was made up of the $15 per hours times your number of hours plus the $5 for the dolly. So if you subtracted the 5 from the 80 and then you divided by the 15, you would come up with the number of hours. And just notice again that it's the rental was so many dollars per hour. When you multiply by hours, the hours cancel. You're left with the amount. Don't worry about doing them like I do them. I'm just trying to help you think about things that might help you further down the road in physics or chemistry. Otherwise, just do your best and check your work.